Okay, so today we're going to talk about Canada's cultural geography. So we talked about the physical geography of North America, and we discussed the United States. We talked about the election yesterday, but today we're going to talk about Canada's cultural geography. And this is pretty interesting because maybe some of you have been to Canada because it is so close to us. It's only about 5 hours away, so you could get there in just like a 5 hour car ride. But a lot of us have not gone to Canada. And I know a lot of people would like to. It's a very, very cool place to go. It's a very different vibe than the United States gives off, but it's really close, so it's pretty cool. Okay, so Canada's cultural geography. So this is a map of the provinces and territories. And so to give you an example, these are the Great Lakes right here. And so right here is actually where you got the Great Lakes. So you just go right across the Great Lakes and you are in Canada and Ontario. So you have the eastern provinces, then you have the central provinces, the western ones, and then these are the far northern. Like this is the Arctic Circle up here, and none of it, Northwest Territory, Yukon. And then Alaska is right on the other side of the Yukon province. So Alaska is right over here. Okay, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. And they don't have states, they have provinces. Okay, so population of Canada. Most people that live in Canada are descendants of the British or the French. We know that the French and the British settled the New World, right? The British had the colonies here in America. A lot of the people that lived in the American colonies, but did not want to be a part of this new country called the United States of America, they actually migrated north up into Canada, and at the time, it was a part of Great Britain still. And then you had the Quebec province in Canada. So you have Quebec right over here. And this was settled by the French. And so we'll talk more about that in a later slide. But most of the people that live in Canada are descendants of the British or the French. Both countries fought for control of Canada. Okay, so the population density, 90% of Canadians live near the US border. So if you look at this map down here, the darker the color, like purple, red, orange, that means there's more people in a smaller area. Imagine if you let me just, if you will, you have two circles. You guys see this? You have two circles like this, right? Um, so the yellow, white color here would be like this, and the other purple would be the same size circle, but it's got a lot more people in it. So to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you this. So you can see these circles. This one is less densely populated. That's what the white is. So it's like having a circle that has 4 dots in it versus the purple, which is the circle that has like 30 dots in it. It's the same size circle, but the more densely populated has more people in it, more dots, where the other one has less people. Okay, so 90% of Canada's population lives right along the border of the United States and Canada. And if you take the entire population density of the entire country of Canada, it's 9 people per square mile. The United States was 85 people per square mile. Canada is 9 people per square mile. The reason for that is because a lot of this is completely uninhabitable. It's like a glacier. It's like frozen solid ice. So you really can't live there. Okay, so urban areas. Toronto is the largest city in Canada. Okay, right? It's often nickname for Toronto is the Six. I'm sure you guys know that because of Drake, right? Running through the Six. But the reason it's called that is because the area code of Toronto is the number 6. So yeah. Okay, Montreal, it's the industrial and shipping center of Canada. Again, if you go back to this map here, you can see that Montreal is right here on the St. Lawrence River, and it's really close to the St. Lawrence, the Bay of St. Lawrence, and it's close to the Great Lakes. So it's like in the middle point between the Great Lakes and the opening into the Atlantic Ocean. So because of that, there's a lot of industrial shipping centers here. So there's a lot of ports where they have these big barges that will load up cargo and take it to Europe or Great Britain and trade, or stuff from Europe and Great Britain will get brought to Montreal. Okay, Vancouver, it's a center of trade with Asia. I'm going to go back to that map again to show you what I'm talking about here. Vancouver is right over here, and Vancouver is on the coast of the Pacific Ocean. And so if you just go straight across this ocean, here's China. Okay, so it's really close to China and Asia, and so it's a really good central place for trading with Asian countries. Edmonton is the center of the oil industry in Canada. So Edmonton is in the Alberta province, which is very flat, has a lot of farming, but a little bit farther north in the Alberta province, they have rich oil deposits. And so they drill for oil. If you guys, I'm sure you don't watch hockey at all, but Edmonton's hockey team is called the Oilers, okay, because Edmonton is the center of the oil industry in Canada. You've probably seen their jerseys before. They're pretty dope looking. They have like blue and orange, like really bright orange and a really like royal blue. I've seen some people like I remember seeing a picture of Lil Uzi Vert wearing an Oilers jersey. He had a Wayne Gretzky jersey on. It matched like his orange like braids that he had at the time. It was pretty cool. Okay, so government. So this is where we kind of get into the history of it. So it was fought over by France and Great Britain. They both fought for control of Canada through French and Indian Wars, through various wars throughout the 17 and early 1800s. Canada starts off as a dominion of Great Britain. So Great Britain named Canada, they called it Canada, but it was a part of Great Britain. So the King and Queen and the Parliament of England ruled over Canada. But after World War I, Canada starts discussing with Parliament that they want to be their own country. They think that they could actually benefit from having independence from Great Britain. And so, unlike the American colonies, they didn't fight a war over it. Great Britain negotiated with Canada. They set up a government system in Canada, and then they said, yeah, you guys can be your own country. You stayed a colony or dominion, a part of us for over 300 years, and we think it's time for you to be your own country. So they let them go peacefully. So they have a constitutional monarchy in Canada. Their national legislature is a parliament. So they don't have a Congress, they have a parliament system. And the head of state, the leader, the executive, is the prime minister. So they don't have a president, they have a prime minister. And the monarch of Canada is the Queen of England. So the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth here, she is still the Queen of Canada. So it's really weird, but she actually has a house and a residence in Canada. And she visits and stays in Canada quite often, actually. Not recently because of COVID, but usually she would come and stay in Canada for like a couple weeks on end and be a part of ceremonies that were in Canada. So the current prime minister is Justin Trudeau. He's been the prime minister. He's on his second term as prime minister right now. And Justin Trudeau's father, or his dad, was also prime minister. So he was kind of born into this role. And Quebec, which is a province of Canada, which you can see down here if my little thing would go away, but Quebec seeks independence from Canada. And if you recall, Quebec is the part that was settled by the French, and it's French speaking. So language and religion, there's two official languages in Canada. You have English and French. So they don't have everything is either in English or in French. So all their signs will either be in English or French or both. Christianity is the number one practiced religion. Quick story about the language thing. So I was traveling and I was in Quebec and I got lost one time and I would stop. I was trying to get to this museum and I was with exchange students and I had to stop and get directions and none of us spoke French. And so I went into a McDonald's and I was like, hey, can you tell me like which highway I need to go on to get to this museum? And they'd be like, yeah. And then they would tell me in French how to do it. And I'd be like, excuse me, could you tell me how to get to, this highway or whatever? And they would be like, yeah, sure. And then they tell me in French how to get there. So they know English in Quebec. They just don't like speaking English. They're very proud of their French culture. And so they speak their language. They're kind of like kind of uppity about it. It's kind of funny. So I had to ask like 10 different people, and finally some old lady was like, she felt bad for me, I think, and then she told me how to get there in English. So that's much appreciated. Okay, so education, they have a public and private school system similar to ours. Healthcare is free in Canada. So in Canada, you don't have private insurance. So here in the United States, if you work a job and you work a full-time job, you get health insurance through your employer. So like here at the school, I work here full-time. The school has an insurance plan. I pay for the insurance plan, but it's only offered to Maryville employees. Does that make sense? And each different company or school or employer will have a different health insurance plan and company that they work with. In Canada, they don't have that. In Canada, they have one healthcare system and everyone's on it. So if you're a millionaire, if you're homeless, if you're middle class, if you're working class, if you're like on the upper echelon of being very, very wealthy, you're all on the same insurance plan. And it's paid for through taxes. So everyone pays their taxes, the government divides up the taxes, and they pay for everyone's health insurance. So going to the doctor is free. Getting a surgery is free. Getting medicine, prescriptions, free. All health insurance, free. Dental, vision, all free. But their taxes are really high. To give you an idea, in the United States, the average tax bracket that most people fall into, like the middle to working class, which makes up like 85% of the US population, pays about 30 to 33% income tax. So if you made $100,000, you're going to pay $30,000 to $33,000 in taxes. That's the way it works in the United States. In Canada, that middle to working class, the rich, the wealthy, everyone, you pay 50 to 58% of your income. So if you made $100,000 in Canada, $50,000 to $58,000 of your income is going to the government to pay for your insurance, your neighbor's insurance, and anyone else in the country's insurance. A lot of Americans don't like the idea of being taxed that much. Some Americans are very, very open to the idea of being taxed that much if their insurance was free. But in Canada, everyone's on board with it. Everyone likes doing it. No one minds paying more taxes to pay for other people's health insurance. It's a very different culture. It's a different perception. So it's one of the things that Canada has, the United States does not, that is, very different. Okay, arts and communication. So they have government cell phone plans there as well. So the government actually owns its own cell phone company, and you can apply to get a cell phone. Like you buy the phone, but you can get the service and stuff free through the government. So that's pretty cool. But it's regulated by the government, so they're probably spying, but I mean, they spy on you anyways, right? Toronto Symphony Orchestra is considered to be one of the best in the world. Family life. Canada is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. They have a lot of natural resources, like I said, oil, coal, different resources that they trade and sell to other countries. They do make stuff in Canada. They have some manufacturing there as well. A lot of the automotive industry, is based in Canada, above the Great Lakes. So, even companies, American car companies, they make their cars in Canada. So, Chevy, Ford, they make cars in Canada. If you see like a Ford F-150, like a truck, or a Chevy Silverado, there's about a 50 to 60% chance that thing was made in Canada and it was shipped here to the States. So they make a lot of stuff. They have a lot of resources. They do a lot. So it's a very wealthy country. They have a high level of income and lifestyle choice. 70% of their population is married with families. If you remember the United States, that was only 50% in the United States, 70% in Canada. And life expectancy, so the average age a person lives to be in Canada is 81 years old. That is number 2 in the world, second highest life expectancy in the world. I wonder if that's tied into the fact that everyone has health care. So anyone can go see a doctor. Anyone can go to the dentist and get a tooth fixed. Anyone can get help, medical help when they need it. I'm sure that has something to do with the life expectancy being number 2 in the world. Okay, so that is it for the note. So I'm going to quit recording. Thanks, guys, for either watching this video or listening to me. I really appreciate it.